In the hushed corridors of Fort Liberty Military Hospital, where the relentless hum of life-saving machines mingled with the sterile scent of antiseptic and freshly mopped floors, a forgotten hero lingered in the shadows. Dr. Samuel Hayes, at 68 years old, had once been a beacon of hope on blood-soaked battlefields, his steady hands weaving miracles from the chaos of war. But now, those same hands clutched a worn mop handle, scrubbing away the remnants of others' victories and tragedies. For 3 long, aching years, Samuel had faded into invisibility, a ghost in a faded blue janitor's uniform, his heart heavy with the weight of loss and unspoken regrets. The world saw him as just another elderly man scraping by, but beneath that humble exterior burned the fire of 35 years as a combat surgeon. He had saved thousands, soldiers torn apart in the deserts of Iraq, the mountains of Afghanistan, the unforgiving sands of Desert Storm. Each life he mended was a testament to his unyielding skill, yet life had dealt him a cruel blow. His beloved wife, Margaret, had been stolen away by the merciless grip of pancreatic cancer. The treatments drained their savings, forcing him to sell their modest home, the sanctuary where they had shared whispered dreams and tender embraces. His military pension barely covered the rent on a cramped apartment, leaving him no choice but to seek work where he could still feel the pulse of medicine, even if from afar. Samuel's colleagues in the janitorial staff admired his quiet diligence. He arrived at 4:00 a.m. without fail, his steps measured and purposeful, never uttering a complaint about the endless nights or the back-breaking labor. But no one knew the storm raging within him, the memories of frantic field surgeries, the echoes of soldiers' grateful sobs, the phantom ache of Margaret's hand in his. He mopped the floors where heroes were born anew, his heart twisting with every swipe, wondering if his own light had dimmed forever. That fateful morning unfolded like a nightmare cloaked in routine. Samuel clocked in under the dim fluorescent lights, donned his uniform, and began his solitary rounds in the surgical wing. The mop glided across the linoleum, erasing the faint traces of yesterday's battles against death. Then chaos erupted. A young training unit had been pushing through grueling morning PT when Private First Class Ryan Thompson, only 22, collapsed in a heap, his strong heart betraying him without warning. The ambulance sirens wailed like a siren's lament as they rushed him to the ER, where nurses sprang into action, their compressions desperate but faltering. Dr. Emily Carter, a brilliant young physician fresh from residency, took command, her voice trembling beneath a facade of control. "Get the crash cart. Start compressions. Where is Dr. Donovan?" The on-call surgeon, Dr. Michael Donovan, was trapped in the snarl of early morning traffic on Highway 87, 15 agonizing minutes away. 15 minutes that could steal Ryan's future, his dreams, his very breath. Samuel froze in the hallway, his mop forgotten, as the frantic rhythm of CPR reached his ears. It was wrong, too shallow, too erratic. His instincts, honed by decades of defying death, screamed at him. The young doctor's panic sliced through the air like a knife, stirring the embers of Samuel's buried resolve. He set down the mop with a clatter that echoed his pounding heart and stepped toward the doorway. The scene before him was a tableau of terror. Ryan on the gurney, his youthful face turning an unnatural blue, his chest heaving weakly under the nurse's efforts. Dr. Carter's hands shook as she coordinated, her eyes wide with the raw fear of losing her first patient this way. Samuel's breath caught, memories flooded him, of Margaret's final days, her frail form slipping away despite his desperate pleas to fate. He couldn't stand by, not again. "Get me gloves, now." His voice cut through the silence like thunder, every head snapping toward him in stunned disbelief. Dr. Carter's confusion twisted into fury. "Who are you?" Samuel met her gaze, his eyes burning with the authority of 1,000 saved souls. "Someone who stared death in the face more times than you can imagine. Those compressions are too shallow. You've got 2 minutes before his brain starts dying. Gloves or step aside." The room hung in suspense, time stretching like a taut wire. A nurse, driven by instinct, thrust a pair of surgical gloves into his hands. Samuel snapped them on with the precision of a maestro, his weathered fingers remembering every motion. He approached the gurney, his heart aching for the boy who reminded him of so many young soldiers he'd pulled from the brink. Placing his hands on Ryan's chest, he delivered compressions that were poetry in motion, deep, rhythmic, life-affirming. "Bag him properly," he commanded, his tone brooking no argument. The respiratory therapist adjusted, and the room held its collective breath. 30 seconds ticked by an agonizing slowness. Samuel checked the monitor flatline, charging to 200. Clear. The shock jolted Ryan's body, but the line remained stubbornly flat. Samuel's mind raced, flashbacks of battlefield horrors mingling with the sting of tears he refused to let fall. Again, 300. Clear. Another shock, another heart-wrenching nothing. Dr. Carter watched, frozen, her world upended by this enigmatic janitor who moved with the grace of a guardian angel. He didn't hesitate. Intracardiac line. "Now," Dr. Carter's voice cracked. "That's insanely risky. We wait for Dr. Donovan." Samuel's eyes locked on hers, filled with the sorrow of lost battles. "In 2 minutes this boy's dreams die. In 5 he does. I won't let that happen." The weight of his words hung heavy, and she stepped aside, her heart pounding with a mix of awe and dread. Samuel's hands danced over the tray, muscle memory guiding him through the storm. He inserted the catheter with flawless precision, administering epinephrine straight to the heart, a desperate gamble born of love for the fallen. 30 seconds of torturous silence. Samuel resumed compressions, his arms burning, his soul whispering prayers. "Come on, son, fight for me." Another shock. The monitor beeped once, twice, then a steady, miraculous rhythm. Ryan's heart thundered back to life. The room exploded in controlled frenzy, nurses stabilizing him as tears welled in Dr. Carter's eyes. Samuel stepped back, stripping off the gloves, his own vision blurring with unshed emotion. He turned to leave, but Dr. Carter grasped his arm. "Who are you?" He glanced at his name tag, his voice soft with humility. "Samuel Hayes, janitorial staff." Her whisper was laced with wonder. "Janitors don't save lives like that." Samuel retrieved his mop, his heart swelling with a bittersweet ache. "This one does." He vanished into the hallway, leaving behind a symphony of whispers and grateful sobs. Word spread like wildfire through the hospital's veins. By noon, Colonel Laura Bennett, the commanding officer, summoned him to her office. Samuel followed her through corridors alive with curious stares, his blue uniform a stark reminder of his hidden pain. She closed the door, her eyes piercing. "I ran your file, Dr. Samuel Hayes, retired Lieutenant Colonel, 35 years of miracles in the field. Bronze Star, Purple Heart, Legion of Merit, Chief of Trauma at Walter Reed, and now, mopping my floors." Samuel's voice cracked, the dam of grief threatening to break. "I need to survive, ma'am." Colonel Bennett's heart twisted, she pressed gently. "That's evasion, doctor." He sighed, memories of Margaret's gentle smile flooding him. 3 years ago, cancer took my Margaret. Bills piled up like enemies on the front lines. I sold everything, applied everywhere. Too old, they said, a risk. Tears glistened in his eyes, his voice a whisper. "So I mopped, staying close to the fight I loved, even if it broke me every day." Colonel Bennett's throat tightened, her own losses echoing in his words. "What you did today, it was heroic. Skills like yours don't fade." She offered him a lifeline, surgical consultant, $120,000 a year, full benefits. Samuel's world tilted, hope flickering like a long-lost star. "Ma'am, they saw a janitor save a life. Resentment will follow." Her smile was fierce. "Earn their respect as you earned mine by saving souls." Monday dawned with Samuel in scrubs, his new office a humble haven. But resistance brewed. Dr. Michael Donovan, Chief of Surgery, Harvard Elite, 45, unyielding, voiced his disdain in the staff meeting. "Dr. Hayes has field experience, but medicine has advanced. Robotics, imaging beyond battlefield hacks." Samuel nodded humbly. "You're right, I'm here to learn and share." Whispers strung like barbs. "A janitor consulting us? Absurd." The first trial came swiftly, a helicopter crash, 3 soldiers clinging to life. Dr. Donovan relegated Samuel to observe. From the gallery, Samuel watched Captain Jordan Ellis bleed out from a hepatic artery rupture. Donovan froze, a split second of terror. Samuel's heart raced. He couldn't watch another soul slip away. He scrubbed in, bursting through the doors. "Clamp here, suction." His hands guided the team through the abyss, stabilizing Jordan in 90 heart-pounding seconds. Donovan's face warred with emotions, rage, relief, shame. "You were to observe." Samuel's eyes softened. "I observed a life fading, I acted." Later in the lounge, exhaustion hung heavy. Donovan confessed, "You made me look weak." Samuel sat beside him, voice thick with empathy. "No, I ensured a family keeps their loved one. That's victory." Donovan's walls crumbled. "Teach me that technique." Samuel smiled through tears. "Tomorrow, bring coffee. We'll honor the fallen by learning." Weeks blurred into redemption. Samuel guided, his wisdom a balm. Dr. Carter became his ally, her gratitude a tearful embrace. But Dr. Sarah Lawson, risk management head, fretted. Certifications outdated, liability nightmare. Colonel Bennett countered, eyes fierce. Outcomes up 12%, lives saved, that's my metric. Then the storm, a mass casualty from a training mishap, 7 soldiers ravaged by friendly fire. Code black, chaos reigned, blood pooling like accusations. Dr. Donovan thrust Samuel into the fray. Trauma Bay 4 Sergeant Tyler Brooks, double amputation, hemorrhaging. Tyler's wounds were apocalyptic, his young face etched with pain. Standard methods failed, Samuel's heart shattered, recalling Margaret's agony. Vietnam tourniquet, old but it saves. The nurse hesitated, Samuel's plea was raw. Trust me, I've lost too many. He worked miracles, stabilizing Tyler, then moved on, his soul weary but unbowed. All 7 survived, their families' tears of joy mirroring Samuel's silent sobs. In the debrief, Donovan praised him. Field techniques saved them. Dr. Lawson protested. Colonel Bennett silenced her. 7 families whole because of him, that's divine approval. Samuel's role expanded, leading the Combat Medicine Integration Program. He taught nationwide, his voice cracking with passion. This isn't elegant, it's survival. Captain Luis Ramirez approached, eyes haunted. In Syria, I lost one. Your knowledge could have saved him. Samuel's hand on his shoulder was paternal. Don't carry that, save the next. Months later, a letter from Tyler, learning to walk on prosthetics. My wife calls me lucky, you gave me life. Samuel wept, tucking it away as armor against doubt. 2 years on, the Pentagon called. General William Hargrove greeted him. Your program boosted survival 18%. Expand to NATO. At 70, Samuel hesitated. Hargrove insisted. Age means wisdom. Samuel traveled, training 5,000, his techniques saving countless. A letter from Lieutenant Sophia Reed. IED hit. Your method saved my soldier. You saved through me. At 75, retirement beckoned. The ceremony at Fort Liberty was a sea of grateful faces. General Bennett spoke, voice breaking. From mop to legend, Samuel's speech. I thought I was done, but skill waits, dignity in every role. He hung his uniform in the supply room, Maria Gonzalez tearful, an honor. Driving home, Samuel reflected. From surgeon to janitor to savior. Tears streamed, tears of loss, triumph, unbreakable human spirit. True heroes hide in plain sight, their hearts beating with quiet, eternal fire.